Does that help Tesla? I mean, you had Tim Waltz, who's a huge jerk, right? You know.
The world of electric vehicles is no longer what it was just a couple of years ago. While most automakers were still tentatively exploring electric vehicle technology, one company, Tesla, was loudly proclaiming its leadership and dictating the rules of the game. Elon Musk, with his ambitious projects, supercharging stations and high-speed electric cars, seemed like an unbeatable monopoly in this market. But what if I told you that there is a company that has been quietly preparing for several years to take on the role of not just a competitor, but a real leader in the electric vehicle market? A company that everyone has come to see as an old player, unable to keep up with new technologies, has suddenly become a threat to everyone.
Spray paint to vandalize and make a statement. People in Southern California are getting notes on their Teslas, calling them complicit Nazis for owning electric cars.
Imagine this: Toyota, the automotive giant known for its hybrid cars and long-standing traditions, reveals its plans in 2025 and declares that it is ready not just to catch up with Tesla, but to overtake it. These are not just words. This is an ambitious reality backed by billions in investment and revolutionary technologies. But what is really behind this statement?
That's from the European Automobile Manufacturers Association. People just choosing with their wallets to not buy Teslas because of that Musk-Trump association. And actually here in London, an activist group called Everyone Hates Elon actually have been hacking bus stop signs with posters. I actually passed one yesterday. First, I wasn't quite sure what was happening, but it said the words 0 to 1939 in 3 seconds. Illusion here, 0 to 60 in like 3 seconds or something. But this poster was alluding to the start of World War II, and the image was of Musk giving that hand salute that we saw at Trump's inauguration that many have attacked as a Nazi gesture. Musk, though, has neither admitted or denied what he was doing. But we're seeing the knock-on effect of that anti-Musk anger across Europe and in terms of sales.
Instead of simply following the leaders, Toyota has decided to offer the world something that, until recently, seemed impossible. Solid-state batteries promise to solve the main problems of electric vehicles, not only increasing the range to 745 miles on a single charge, but also solving the problem of long charging times. Have you ever heard of charging in 10 minutes? No, that's not a mistake. It could become a reality thanks to Toyota's latest technology.
Well, this feels more like a Tesla-only story when you look at just this fall in EV sales for them that they're suffering across Europe, down 45% in January. The wider EV market in Europe up 37%, so rivals are catching up and performing.
But that's just the beginning. Toyota understands that to be a true leader, you need to not only create cutting-edge technology, but also build the infrastructure to support that technology in the real world. While Tesla is struggling with an overload of its charging station network, Toyota is preparing ambitious plans to create its own network of chargers that will cover the entire world, including the most remote corners.
Well, you will hear people over in Europe say the new Model Y, the Juniper, could be a difference maker, but that's been in that market now for more than a month. And you would think that you would see a greater snapback if it's going to be a difference maker. Look, we could be wrong. It could be a difference maker once you get the sales for April, May, and June. But when you have a country like Norway, I think the sales were down something like 11% there. I mean, that's a very savvy EV consumer in Norway. And that's long been a strength for Tesla. Very small market, not huge volume, but I think almost all of the vehicles they sell there are electric. And they embraced Tesla long before others. And, the reports there are not encouraging.
What about Tesla? The company that has long been synonymous with innovation is now facing growing difficulties. Problems with rare material shortages, overloaded supercharging stations, and dependence on external supplies are casting doubt on its future. And it seems that Toyota already understands this. It is addressing these issues by betting on complete independence and developing its own infrastructure that will allow it not only to catch up with, but also to surpass its competitors.
I mean, the things that he's doing is not trying to make America better. He's ruining our infrastructure, every department in our government. He's ruining, and he's right now destroying our economy. He's taken away all of our allies. We're a pariah in the world.
Many have already begun to wonder what will happen to Tesla if Toyota really manages to realize its ambitious plans. How did a company that once seemed like an outsider manage to enter the race so quickly and decisively? And most importantly, how could this turn of events change the future of electric mobility? Today in this video, we'll take a look at how Toyota is unexpectedly transforming from an old player into a serious threat to Tesla and the entire electric vehicle industry. You'll learn what the company is hiding behind its ambitions and how its innovations could change the market forever. Get ready for a thrilling story about how a new player is ready to turn the tables and possibly lead a revolution in the world of electric vehicles.
Running around on stage with the Tesla stock price, where the stock price had gone in half. And he was overjoyed. What an evil thing to do. What a creep, what a jerk. Like who derives joy?
Imagine a situation in which one of the most conservative and slowest decision-making automotive companies in the world decides to change the electric vehicle market, not just catching up with its competitors, but significantly ahead of them. In 2025, when everyone seems to have become accustomed to Tesla's leadership, a company that has always been associated with hybrid cars and hydrogen energy suddenly announces its intention to become a pioneer in a completely new market. That company is Toyota. Once considered too cautious, it is now ready to challenge the brightest stars of the electric vehicle industry and become a leader in a new era.
We've accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
He praised all the domestic actions he has taken so far on immigration.
And I deployed the U.S. military and border patrol to repel the invasion of our country.
And spending cuts.
We are draining the swamp. It's very simple.
Over the years, Toyota has established itself as a major player in the hybrid car market. The Japanese auto giant has been in no hurry to switch to full electrification, deciding to focus on hybrid technologies and hydrogen solutions. While Tesla, for example, boldly proclaimed the future of electric vehicles early on and actively developed supercharging stations, Toyota remained on the sidelines, watching the changes unfold. Many, including industry experts, believed that Toyota had fallen behind its competitors and was simply unable to keep up with the rapidly developing electric car market. All this time, Tesla, with its ambitious mission, was setting the standards for the future. Musk's company was actively developing its network of supercharging stations, promoting electric cars to the masses, and it seemed that its leadership would be unchallenged for many years to come.
After Trump imposed those sweeping 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel imports, the European Union retaliating with tariffs on up to $28 billion of U.S. goods. Trump making it clear this isn't over, vowing to respond in kind with sweeping retaliatory tariffs early next month.
They're doing what they should be doing, perhaps, for the European Union, but it does create ill will. And as you know, we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs. So whatever they charge us, we're charging them.
Canada also striking back with new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods, mostly steel and aluminum, but also computers and sporting goods.
However, as is often the case, the biggest changes happen where you least expect them. In 2025, Toyota suddenly announced that it was ready not only to catch up with Tesla, but to overtake it. This statement shook the world. No one expected that a company that had been playing a secondary role in the electric race for years would suddenly be ready to offer technology that could change everything. Instead of following the market, Toyota has bet on creating technologies that will not just improve existing solutions, but bring about radical change. In this video, when everyone was already used to thinking that Tesla was the undisputed leader, it was Toyota that began to show how it could change the balance of power. The innovations it presented were a real sensation. One of the key moments was the announcement that Toyota was ready to mass-produce cars with solid-state batteries. These are not just theoretical developments, they are backed by real progress that Toyota has demonstrated in its laboratories over the past few years. Solid-state batteries are a technology that could radically change the way we think about electric vehicles. They promise to significantly increase range, improve charging speed, and, importantly, address the safety concerns associated with traditional lithium-ion batteries. Unlike other manufacturers, who continue to work with the limitations of current technology, Toyota is not only working to improve battery quality, but is also betting on the production of a completely new type of battery that is several times more efficient than its predecessors.
Outperforming as well in some cases, doing better than Tesla. And you just have to think, how much more is this a sustained issue for Tesla going forward, given the fact that you have Elon Musk, who's been very forthright in his opinions, particularly weighing in on politics, particularly in Europe. We've just had the European elections, which Musk has been very focused on. But across the piece, when you look at the performance for Tesla in Europe, it's not just in small countries. A lot of countries where Tesla has been performing badly, including in Germany, in the UK where it has been lagging, and Spain as well.
This technology has several key advantages that could take the electric vehicle market to a whole new level. In particular, the promised increase in range to 745 miles on a single charge is not just a pipe dream. According to Toyota engineers, these batteries have already undergone rigorous testing, including testing in the harsh climates of northern Canada and Alaska, where electric vehicles with solid-state batteries performed excellently without losing power, even at extremely low temperatures. This was a real breakthrough, as existing batteries, such as lithium-ion, lose much of their efficiency in cold weather. If Toyota can bring these technologies into mass production, it will gain a serious competitive advantage that even Tesla will find difficult to overcome. But developing new technologies is only part of the success. Unlike Tesla, Toyota understands that it is not enough to build cars with advanced batteries. It is also necessary to build the infrastructure that will support these technologies in real life. The company has invested billions of dollars in creating its own charging stations that will be able to meet the demand for fast charging. The problems with overloaded existing charging stations faced by most manufacturers, including Tesla, are obvious. Toyota's chargers will be able to support charging of its cars regardless of where they are located in cities or remote rural areas. Instead of relying on outdated and congested networks, the company has decided to build its own infrastructure that will provide electric vehicle drivers with reliable and convenient charging anytime, anywhere. What's more, Toyota isn't stopping at just creating infrastructure. It is preparing 15 new electric vehicle models by 2027, which also puts it one step ahead. These vehicles will be equipped with new solid-state batteries that promise not only increased range but also fast charging, making electric vehicles much more convenient for users. Instead of following market demands, Toyota is creating its own standards. This makes it not just competitive, but a real threat to market leaders. It is not surprising that this shift in Toyota's strategy is causing so much discussion. The question of how serious a threat this company will pose to Tesla remains open, but one thing is clear: Toyota is not just ready to catch up, it has already taken on the role of a serious player in the electric vehicle market.
Tesla shares have slumped by more than 9% amid a fall in sales in Europe. The electric vehicle maker posted lower sales across 5 European countries, including France and the UK. Joining us now to discuss this is CBS News foreign correspondent Remy Inocencio. Remy, why do we believe these sales are dropping? What's driving that?
Sure. Well, Errol, basically what Elon Musk has been talking about over the past, say, few months, ever since Donald Trump's election back to the White House, that has been fueling this anger, this frustration. Some even say disgust towards Musk, and they're taking it out on Tesla. Tesla now feeling the pain. But because of what's happening here in Europe, Tesla sales fell by nearly half across the continent just last month, 45%.
Toyota, which has placed its bets on solid-state batteries, has not stopped there. The company realizes that to become a true leader in the electric vehicle market, it needs to not only create cutting-edge technologies, but also build an entire infrastructure to support these technologies in everyday life. After all, even the best designs can be useless to most users if they are not accompanied by a reliable and accessible charging network. Unlike Tesla, which faced the problem of overloading its network of supercharging stations, Toyota immediately set about creating its own network of charging devices. But this is not just a charging network in the usual sense. Toyota's plan is to build compact and powerful charging stations that can be installed not only in large cities, but also in remote areas, at gas stations, and in residential complexes. This concept differs significantly from Tesla's approach, which relied on large supercharging stations distributed across major cities and key highways.
371, most were saying 350 to 360. Now they're coming in at 336,068, production of 362,615. So for some point of reference here, you're going back to Q2, maybe Q1 of 2022 in terms of the last time that they had production this or deliveries this low for one quarter. So again, Tesla deliveries worse than expected at just over 336,000 deliveries in the first quarter. Guys, I'll send it back to you.
That's horrible. Can I just ask Phil, how about the Cybertruck? How's that doing? You got a little inventory there in the Cybertruck?
By investing in the development of charging infrastructure and creating solutions for the convenience of its customers, Toyota is finding ways to outperform not only Tesla, but also other companies that rely on outdated and overloaded charging station networks. No more waiting in line or worrying about finding a free charging spot. With Toyota, electric vehicle owners will be able to charge their cars quickly and easily right where they live, work, or play.
Hey Diane, this investigation really just beginning, and one of the key elements will of course be the surveillance video, and investigators potentially have a lot of it to work with as they try to figure out what caused this fire. We know that surveillance footage has been turned over, including video from each of the cars, which could prove vital to understanding what happened here, because each vehicle has its own camera system that works even when the car is off, and 16 cars burned in this fire. And right now, investigators don't know what caused it.
In addition, the company is actively working to build its own network of energy solution partners. The establishment of factories that will produce components for charging stations, as well as technological integration with the world's largest energy companies, allows Toyota not only to guarantee the quality of its chargers, but also to reduce their production and operating costs. This strengthens its position and makes electric vehicles more accessible.
Canada, the largest supplier of steel to the U.S., slapping new tariffs on $20 billion worth of U.S. goods that are sold in Canada. And the 27 countries of the European Union imposing retaliatory tariffs on up to $28 billion worth of U.S. goods sold in Europe, including Harley-Davidson motorcycles and Kentucky bourbon. President Trump with the Irish Prime Minister visiting the White House today. The president suggesting his tariffs won't stop here, saying, "Of course, I'm going to respond." And tonight, right here, the new poll showing 56% of Americans disapprove of President Trump's handling of the economy. The number's even worse now on the president's tariffs.
In this context, it is worth mentioning that Toyota is also seeking to create its own ecosystem for the extraction of raw materials for the production of solid-state batteries. Unlike Tesla, which depends on external supplies of materials such as lithium and cobalt, Toyota has decided to take control of this process, from procurement to the establishment of plants for the processing of rare materials. This allows the company not only to reduce its dependence on unstable markets, but also to make the battery production process more environmentally friendly and cost-effective. Today, it cooperates with the world's largest resource suppliers and plans to open new mining operations in the coming years to meet its needs for key materials required for the production of solid-state batteries.
Over the last couple of months. But the other thing that this could potentially be is an attempt at readjustment or correction by the Trump administration, in that one of Trump's closest kind of allies and supporters, and someone who's clearly very influential in the administration, is coming out to kind of push back against the recently implemented policies. So I'm thinking, or maybe hopeful is the right word, that this might be a signal that the administration is considering walking back some of those policies.
In addition to these measures, Toyota is actively developing new production methods to reduce the manufacturing time of its vehicles. While Tesla faces delays and rising costs, Toyota is accelerating production and improving logistics to ensure that its new models reach the market quickly.
But they are not ruling out the possibility that this was arson. At the same time, as you just mentioned, there are groups that have been organizing ongoing and peaceful protests at Tesla dealerships around the world. These demonstrations targeting Elon Musk and his affiliation with the Trump administration. Also, Italy's prime minister is said to be close friends with Musk, and there were reports that Teslas have been vandalized in her hometown in Italy. Diane.
Thus, Toyota's strategic approach of investing in new technologies, building infrastructure, and strengthening its manufacturing capabilities could be the decisive factor that allows it to not only catch up with Tesla, but also stay several steps ahead. Unlike most of its competitors, who rely on external suppliers and outdated infrastructure solutions, Toyota is creating its own ecosystem that will enable it to take the lead in the new era of electric vehicles.
KTLA Samantha Cortese joins us live with more on the wave of vandalism in protest of Elon Musk and his role in Washington. Sam?
Hi, Sharon, Micah. The ATF and FBI are collaborating with federal, state, and local law enforcement to investigate acts of domestic terrorism surrounding Teslas.
Every year, it becomes increasingly clear that the electric vehicle market is changing rapidly. Despite its significant achievements, Tesla faces a number of serious problems that call its leadership into question. Overloaded charging stations, rising material prices, and dependence on external supplies are beginning to put pressure on Elon Musk's company. And now, Toyota is appearing on the horizon, not only catching up, but also preparing to change the entire market. All Tesla has left to do is urgently solve its problems, otherwise it risks losing its position.
Worse than expected, 336 and 68 vehicles, 336,068 vehicles delivered in the first quarter for Tesla. For a point of reference, the street was expecting, the street account was expecting, based on analyst expectations.
Despite the challenges, Tesla continues to maintain its leadership position. But the growing number of problems it faces could give Toyota a chance to take the top spot. The company, once considered too cautious and unprepared for radical change, is now ready not only to catch up but also to overtake its competitors. The new technologies and infrastructure solutions that Toyota is developing could not only be important for its own plans, but also set a new standard for the entire electric vehicle market. And if Tesla continues to face problems, Toyota could become the player that not only leads the race, but also determines the future of electric mobility.